Alright guys, so today's video, we can check off the box of items we didn't think would exist. Today we're checking out a pair of shoes that actually has a subwoofer built in so that you can feel bass. And the pair of shoes we're going to check out are the DropLabs EP01. So to start this video, I want to explain why I was excited about checking these out, because I'm a bass head. I love to be able to feel bass. The lineup of Skull Candy Crushers that allow you to have that haptic feedback bass. I was very curious to how a company was going to be able to give you that feeling in your feet. Basically, the subwoofer is right underneath the sole of your feet. You're going to feel all the impact of bass, or at least that's what they're advertising. So I was really curious, and I wanted to see if this was worth the $300 price tag, because that's not cheap for a pair of shoes. But if you're getting shoes that you could wear on an everyday basis, and you're getting a sensation that's adding a whole other element to what you're listening to, then it could be worth it. But I went into this skeptical because $300 is a lot of money for shoes. But we're gonna check out the shoes, we're gonna check out some of the features and what all you get, and see if it could be worth the $300 price tag. So before anything else, let's start with the actual design. The design of the shoes actually looks like a pair of shoes I wear on a normal day-to-day basis. To kind of show you a side-by-side, this is the shoe that I wear every day. This is a pair of Skechers. It has a similar fabric texture that the DropLabs shoes has. You can tell it's not that much smaller than the DropLabs, which the DropLabs have technology and things going into the bottom that you can see that there is a lot more to the bottom of this shoe compared to the Skechers that I normally use. So as far as wearing this pair like every day, the reason I would be hesitant about that, because the technology that's in there and the woofer and all that, the only problem is the weight that it adds to the shoe. Now, when you put your foot in the shoe, it feels really light on the top. It kind of feels airy. It's a very comfortable shoe, but there is some weight at the bottom that when you're walking, you can kind of feel it pull you down a little bit. So this wouldn't be a shoe that I would use for running. This really wouldn't be a shoe that I would use every day, because that little bit of weight is very odd, because I'm used to wearing a lightweight shoe, and it's just something, I think obviously if I used it every day, I would get used to it, but it is something that's a little weird. Now, as far as how these actually work, all you have to do is just connect them to your phone. You do have to go through the setup process through DropLabs app. It's very simple to do, but the reason you have to do this is you obviously have to connect the shoes to whatever you're gonna use, but you also have to pair your favorite pair of headphones or earbuds or whatever you're gonna use through that app as well. So it's not like using your normal headphones by going in the Bluetooth settings of your phone. You actually have to connect it through the app so that it's syncing the shoes to the headphones you're gonna be using. So with the buttons that are on the back of the shoe, you simply just press them for like half a second. You'll see that the light on them comes on. It starts off white, but when it connects, it changes over to like this light blue, which you can see right there. So now on the app, which I have pulled up, you can see that it shows the shoe. Now you see the red circle behind the shoe. Now this is actually how much bass you want it to produce. So right now, this is the level that I found that I like the most. And then I'll show you which setting that I'm using this with, but you can simply touch it and stretch it out as much as you want. I personally, again, like it right about there. We're gonna go to the settings, and like I said, the filters are the different ones that they have. The Lush is what they say is their go-to. It's kind of like the default one. The Velvet, it describes as like the low lows. And the reason I like this one is this feels the most realistic to feeling the impact in the music and games and movies and things like that. Now it has a bright setting if you're gonna use this more with like symphonies and classical music, which I'm not really sure why you would use a pair like this for that type of genre, but at least I guess it has that option. Now it has a dramatic setting, which it says it's more cinematic, so it's made for movies. And then it has seismic, which it says is designed for first-person shooters. Now, again, there are different modes for whatever. I personally think that the Velvet one is the best. It had this distinctive feel to it, and that was the mode that I left it on. Now, some other things that you are able to do within the app, you can see that there's this little sun. You can actually turn the lights off on the back of the shoe. So if you're somebody that doesn't like to draw a whole lot of attention, or you just don't want to wear shoes that has a light on them, you can simply just touch that button, and as you can see, the light went off on the shoes. I can just touch it again and the light will come on. So it's really easy to just kind of hide the light if you want it to do that. Now, I personally think some people might actually like to be able to change the colors of the light. So if that's something they can do in an update, probably not, because they probably only have so many colors built in, but I think it would just be a nice touch. And then the only other thing that you can do within the app is there is a slider so that you can sync up the headphones more with the shoes. So if you're listening to music and you feel like the shoes have a slight delay in the impact from what you're listening to, there is a slider to kind of adjust that so that you can get it synced up the way that you need to. And then as far as what you're getting in the box, you do get the charger, which you can see is done by magnetics. Once you plug these onto the back of your shoe, it will light up to let you know that it's charging. It'll change the light color to let you know that it's finished charging. And then as far as like the battery life altogether, you're going to get about 6 hours on the shoe before you need to recharge them. So depending on how much you use them, you might have to charge them every day. It may be something that you only need to charge once a week, but do keep in mind you're getting 6 hours of battery life. Now it does have a little pouch to keep the charger in, and then there's also a really large pouch. Now this is actually the carrying pouch for the shoes themselves. Now obviously if you're going to be traveling, you're going to throw these in your suitcase or whatever, it's nice to have this. Again, I'm not somebody that worries about that so much, so this would be something I just chuck off to the side and probably never see again. Now another way to use these, and this is the way that I found myself using these the most, is they actually have a low latency gaming package. So this is separate than what you actually get in the box. I think it retails for like 24, 25 bucks, but the company did reach out and say if any of my subscribers are interested in this and interested in buying these, if you guys just use the code Gamesky, they're gonna throw in the low latency package. And what it does is it connects to the back of the shoes the same way that the charger does. So it just kind of connects magnetically, and then you plug it into your controller or your PC or your Switch or your VR headset. And so everything at that point is being used wired, so you don't have to worry about latency. And this is where I feel like these shoes shine the most. Pretty much any first-person shooter, and obviously games like Uncharted and The Last of Us that has really good sound design, these respond to really well. And again, that is where these stand out. And so I feel like this is more of a home theater accessory because I also got that same sensation with movies where it's just enough that kind of makes you feel like you're more into what you're watching. But having that subwoofer underneath your feet can be fantastic depending on what you're using it for. Now, I listen to all genres of music, so I tested it with metal, tested it with like acoustic stuff, hip hop, pop, just everything. And I felt like it was great for a lot of genres, but when you dive into metal where there's the double bass drums, or if you even get into hip hop where there's like a lot going on, that's where it can feel like there's too much. I like bass, but I'm not somebody that likes to sit in a car with a bunch of subs where you can hear the trunk rattling and stuff like that. I feel like at times that's just a little too much. You can't hear or enjoy the music at that time, but I don't feel like the best way to use these are for music. And that was the way that I was excited about using them. That was the way that I thought was going to be my main way to use these. But as a home theater or gaming accessory, it's incredible. It is expensive. So it just kind of depends on how much you want to invest in, an accessory to add to your gaming or movie experience. So I can't sit here and say that this is going to be worth it to everybody. I've really enjoyed using these, again, for certain things. It's just an experience that I can't really explain. You do simply have to try them, but to try them, it's gonna cost you 300 bucks. But guys, that's my video on the DropLabs EP01. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.